Today, we have a lot of countries that have starter visa, but the most important thing is as soon as immigrant founders relocate to these countries, usually there is no very smooth onboarding. And most of them feel a bit lost and confused after a while. So today we are here with Ebra Gohari, our founding director at Caravantures.
Hello, Saeed. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me here, and I'm really happy to have a great discussion with you.
Eber, you've lived and worked in many countries like Germany, Sweden, and now you're building in Finland. From your view, what's the biggest gap between how countries promote starter visas and the reality founders face when they arrive?
I would like to bring up some uh, first uh, common challenges in on the table is so first of all, in Europe, the language barrier is like one of the biggest challenge. But this is not something that countries and governments can do. It's a matter of like if the applicants or the founder and co-founder is having some knowledge of that language from the local country. So basically, in Europe, every country has its own local language. Besides that, I think this would be something uh, like differences between whatever regulated written as the law and regulations in terms of how you start and then how you are establishing your future startup in the future country and then destination. Uh, Even though many of them are uh, like a defined in a smooth way of understanding level, but many startups are spending a lot of time to understand the local differences of the law, taxation, and and finding the best possible location, the best possible ways of establishing that startup. On paper, in theory, is like easy, but in reality, when they are like trying to find information, in some countries these are like really smooth and well connected between different authorities, but in some countries are not that much connected between different authorities like tax authority, registration company registration authority, migration, and etc. So police department and many different they're spending a lot of time on that rather than like everything is ready and just start rock and roll and then running the business or the service and the product. I'm not saying there is no soft landing programs. Many local entities, private and public sectors, are trying to have different soft landing programs. But so far, within the last 7 years, uh, in reality, there has been many different, challenges upon arrival.
There are many different, for example, organizations that can help, but to some extent they are fragmented, right? Not very connected in a very concrete program that's helping those immigrant founders to have all of them all in one, probably. Mm, I get you
That's
right.
true. I mean, that's true. That's true. Could be like a one side is like that, and then the other side is like, okay, we are thinking of like the whole Europe. We are thinking of like different cities in those countries. So imagine like we are now talking about like Finland and the Netherlands. So as a startup, are we going to start all in capitals, in Helsinki, in Amsterdam, in like big cities? Or we are thinking like okay, which smaller cities or different cities might be suitable for me, for my team, for the service and the product that I am, focusing. It's like, okay, if I'm in food, if I am in game industry, if I am in like AI or different industry. So I really need to be in the capital? And then yes, if I'm in capital, maybe the access to some extension levels would be easier. But again, each authority works independently and they are like separated. But one program, as a startup visa program or soft landing programs, and then development companies of the cities and private sectors, accelerators, facilitators, or incubators, they are not sitting together at the same time, and it's not. To be honest, it's not possible. But uh, you know, uh, like running between these might be like a challenge. So this is one side, and the other side of this coin is like, okay, the big difference of the cultures. So the cultures are different, and many of those startup founders and co-founders are coming from developing countries, and they're trying to build up something in that developed country. So having these cultural differences, I would say the perspective also is different. So we need to come up with something in between to match these two different sides. This is my point.
Mhm. And do you think governments actually know what to do with immigrant founders after they land or not? At least in Finland and Netherlands and the countries that you've been and you already have experiences.
I would say yes, they kind of know that, but implementation and utilizing those knowledge is not an easy task. So either you are familiar with that culture, you are familiar with that, way of thinking and then seeing things from that perspective, which might be at some point too different than what we are thinking, or what a Finn thinks, or what a Swede thinks, or what a like a Dutch person thinks. So these are like really really different, unless they have lived that kind of like a style or perspective. Otherwise, it's too much. It's too difficult to like match them, and they don't sometimes understand each other. As long as we are having a solution for that, I think any program for immigrant founders, co-founders, or immigrations would be easier, in general saying.
And can we say private sector probably can be part of this onboarding process, or no? You prefer governments and, for example, European Union help and support those startups directly.
Hmm. I would say none of them individually can help this. Both of them should work together, but separately, and at the same time, like, jointly. Uh, Whenever it comes to implementation and then those kind of like utilizing different programs, most probably the private sector and smaller group of people would work efficiently than the like a larger amount of like people from the governmental side. Why I'm saying that? Because from those private sectors, you might find some of the like already immigrants or founders or co-founders who have gone through these processes over the years, and they know how they can match these together. From the public sector and the governmental side, I would say, okay, the support is much much needed. So just they need to just, okay, define the like bigger picture strategies, and then overall thinking of what are like the results that we are uh aiming to have in like in the next 5 years. Then uh allocate it, and then assign it to the private sectors, different parties, and then those communities and parties that they can jointly set up these goals for the next 5 years, and then measure it over the years. So this is like a jointly program, and I would say without support, governmental support is not possible, and without also private sector having hands on that, then it's not possible. So it should be like a joint program.
There are many challenges that you can find on internet or on YouTube, for example, if you search about what probably happened after you arrived to these countries as immigrant founders. And there are many challenges that both side governments and immigrant founders know even before relocations. But I want to know, in your eyes, what are the top three challenges founders face that no one tells them about? Even they search, they usually cannot find those ones. Do you have any particular challenges in your mind?
Uh to be honest, being a co-founder or entrepreneur in life is the biggest challenge in life. So if you are like working on your own idea and then your own company or whatever solution you are thinking to build, uh, this is the main challenge itself. But then if you are in your home country, so uh, this might be a bit different, way different than if you are building into the new country as the like new destination for your future startup. The challenges are changing, and there are some maybe middle parties that they want to do some helps. Some of those, I'm not saying all, but some of those are like building a heaven for those teams and those people, and then they don't even say about the realities uh, where normally you might face them if you are not an entrepreneur. It's just you are like moving abroad or moving a second country. Beside beside those problems and then those challenges, if you are also an entrepreneur, then the challenges are like adding to that. So you should take care of your business, take care of your family, establishing, focusing on the uh, mm, like the uh, the solution you're building, and then at the same time you should find and build your network. So if you are you know creating this network in your home country is very different than the future country and the second country. uh, this is also another challenge, and one thing is also, I think it comes to my mind, is like by arrival, you're trying to focus on your like planned, program. But then after arrival, you're facing or seeing some other, opportunities or other solutions to just build your life there. And then you just, you know, immediately you think, why not I'm switching to that, or I'm going to study, I'm going to just like finding a job, or many of those. So then you're just losing the time and the budget that you have been investing to reach that moment. And then all of a sudden, before the next 3 months, you're just switching to something else because you have heard from someone else, this might be better for your future in the next 4 years. This is like better towards like being a permanent person here, or like whatever. So these are like the thing that uh, people are not having some pre-knowledge about that, and then just believing whatever people are saying, and then just say, okay, i've heard I've heard, and then I've heard. So you have heard, but find or look for the the proofs, look for the best the examples, look for the best practices. If they have some achievements through that process, then think of, okay, does it worth I switch to that or not? So these are like the thing that I'm seeing that, I mean, in reality are not delivered to those people. And what we are doing so far, and I'm always saying within the last 5 years at least. I'm saying that, hey, we are not trying to get benefit out of your lack of knowledge. We are getting benefit of your, fully knowledge level. Otherwise, these gears are not, are not working well. So that's like really, really important.
Yeah. Yeah, and one more challenge that I want to add to those ones is the thing that came out all other challenges, and it's your mental health, because all those pressure, all those challenges usually makes you very frustrated, very overwhelmed, and especially if you're going to relocate with your whole family, then it means you have to take care of them with extra challenges. And one thing that I really suggest every immigrant founders do is to have a mental health therapist, and go for it every month maximum, because it's really important to take care of that side as well. Otherwise, I know some people that after a long period of fighting, uh, they just feel very empty, very lost, and it influences a lot on their future when they don't take care of mental health as well.
That's true. I mean, these are like the personal thing. I mean, you can be homesick. You can be like having a lot of cultural shocks. You can be like, feeling alone, thinking that every steps that you're taking forward is not moving, is not progressing, and many of them. And of course, having enough financial support would be like one big aspect here. If someone is thinking like within the next 6 months, I am able to build up like some uh like a recurring income without any worriness. So then it's like you have to just rethink and replan everything, because within 6 months, even from moving from one city to another city, might have some big challenges in your home country. Imagine if you're like somewhere that you are building everything from zero or from scratch, and then having those problems. That I totally agree that if you are not imagining where you're like aiming or where you are like going, so you will be lost at some point. You will lose your energy and motivation, and then you will be like demotivated. So better to work on the resilience and resilience and
Yeah.
resilience, so before arrival. That's something that we have been building in our programs, and then we are really really emphasizing on that. Before arrival, you really need this kind of like, building up these power inside, and then uh, besides all the motivation as a uh, like a founder and co-founder of a business.
Yeah.
So then you have a lot of energy to give it to your team, your mates, your family, and then the future network that you are, building. And definitely you're looking for fundraising in the next like 6 months to 1 year. So not having that resilience and making that foundation doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And now something else popped to my head, and it is, let's say in this way, along with all the problems they usually have um, because of their startup or any personal problem they have, I want to know if you've seen already founders give up not because of their uh, startup, for example, failed, or not because of their personal problem, but because the system failed them. I want to know if y- y- you if you know any problems regarding the systems, because it is one of the issues that, for example, like problems regarding taxations, regarding company establishment, and after a while you make some big find for your startup, and you just find yourself in a very big problem, very big trouble.
Yeah. Uh, okay. So then this, I mean, none of those systems are like aiming to fail them. Okay. These are like a, if those countries do not get them on board, like really, really, in a maximize level or properly, then it means that in future or in the long run, they are not growing. So they are not. If they are growing, there might be some, lacks in the foundation, like taxation, uh, IP registration, trade registrations, and those kind of like, most importantly, like GDPR in the whole Europe, and then having not taken care of like data security, etc. Depends on like what business you are, and then if both these founders and co-founders, and then from the governmental side and the whole team, they're protected, and they're like if all of these issues are defined into the like a proper onboarding, and then really really complete landing. uh if is not happening, so you might like you eventually summarize it like the system failed.
Yeah, yeah,
you know this is like a is interpreted in a way that, okay, the system is failing them. But so if we have this experience and then we have seen them, so it's better to start it now, to have those kind of like proper uh onboarding programs, which can happen through like different communities, different private entities that they are building these programs together, and then help those future startups. Because at the end of this program and then movement, you're eventually looking for success rate. You're looking for probably the next unicorn out of the whole teams and startups who landed here in this country.
yeah,
Then if we go back, we don't have that success rate or the next that unicorn out of that. So we have to think where this not working. So
yeah, yeah. So, why startup visa countries can't afford to fail? I mean, let's be real. If countries don't onboard founders properly, what does that mean for their future innovation and economy? Because usually you can see the side for founders that, okay, if they fail, probably they have to again relocate to their countries or another one, or they have to be hired by other companies or whatever. But usually people don't talk about governmental side. What happened to those countries that already they attract some talents, but because of any reason there are, they couldn't get most out of them, like help. I mean, have a unicorn at the end. So what do you think about that side? And if you had the chance to redesign how countries welcome founders, where would you start?
I would start like even really, really from the beginning, like early enough before those teams even decide to choose that country. I mean, if I have like I'm thinking about Finland or any other countries. So I would start not by the application phase or by the evaluation phase. I would start early enough to prepare those teams and those people who are aiming to relocate to my country through the startup visa program. Because this is really important. If they are choosing Finland, uh, to build their startups or relocate it, then I would I would go uh, early enough in the beginning stage of this process and say, hey, you are aiming to build your startup in Finland. Okay, let's jump on these like processes, prove it, and then if you are like uh, by by person, by character or whatever, and then the goals that you are matching into that country, then okay, now is the time to apply. So now I apply, you apply, and then I evaluate your application based on the service, the solution, the any all the factors of your startups. Then I'm sure that this team is already ready to build up this future promising, fast growing startup, innovative startup. Then is like the match. Then I think the probability of success through this kind of process might be really, really higher than only just I apply, I arrive, and I start building it, and then I will like have just 1 year to 2 years to test, to just get familiar with the processes and many other things. So if I were a country and then or like the startup visa program, uh, strategy writer or thinking, I would think of like finding those programs or finding those levels of access to early enough stage to get to know those team and those people who are arriving in the next 6 months, in the next 3 months, or whatever. So this is what this would be my initiative to do that in order to increase the success rate within the next 3 to 5 years.
What we always say in Caravantures, at least in our internal conversation, we usually said that the main challenge for those founders from developing countries is not applying for startup and getting that and relocating. The biggest problem is after arrival to a new country, everything, every rule, every let's say basic thing that you already know is right now way different, and you don't start from zero but you start from minus 1,000, and you have to skill up in different sections, you have to learn many things, you have to confront with a lot of challenges, and at the end you don't have a big network, so you usually have problem after arrival. While there are many agencies in different countries. In last couple of years, they help startup founders to relocate, but as soon as they arrive, they say bye bye and they just vanished. So, why did we decide to go beyond relocation and build a complete support system for founders? And how we are screening differently, so both founders and governments are protected.
So that's a really good question because I'm always saying that uh, uh, like moving, relocation, or coming, I would say like from this side is or might be the easiest part. So everyone can do that. But if you're moving, if you're relocating, if you're building your future business or future life in that country, so how you're doing that? What are the plans? What access you have to the local networks, to the local people, how you can build that, what plans you have. Are you like well connected through a network with the different communities from different commissions, from different parties and union? So these take time to build. So if you are thinking that, okay, I just need to arrive, I just need to go, and then after that I start building something, at least it takes like 1 to 2 years to just get to know people, get to know different communities, etc. So that's why we have decided to build the whole community as a like a ecosystem, as like a global ecosystem, and then through DAX, if you want to build something, then it's like okay, it's easier. And then we are trying to do connect different communities to each other that are having the same, the same nature and then the same goals, which is being entrepreneurial life, build something entertaining and educational, and of course being innovative and growing fast. So this is like one thing that we are and we have observed, and we have to build a solution for that. And I think this is like what I think from this side.
And if someone from government or policy or from another side, any founders from developing countries who is watching, what's the one message they need to hear?
Yeah, I would separate it. Or I would think, okay, for those future founders, I would say study enough and get enough support and preparation before arrival. For the governmental side, whoever is watching and listening to us, I would ask and kindly request help us help you. So within this program, we can help each other really, really effectively and for the sake of future and building something together. So that's the whole message.
Okay, more or less, I asked all the questions and we talked about all the challenges, at least we talked in last couple of months. So thank you for being here with us and answering all those questions. And if you have any questions or any last messages, feel free. The floor is yours. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sarid. I mean, I believe that this is like the half an hour, 45 minutes would not cover all the aspects and then all challenges that one startup or the whole ecosystem might have. But we have been trying to just cover some of them, some of the biggest ones. And I think if our audience or your audience are thinking of other problems and challenges, it's better to just send us or comment below this video cast, and so we can take care of them. We can talk about them in future, and maybe we will look for answers from the right people and target the right people to just invite them to this discussions and interviews, so we can negotiate and discuss on that and then talk about them, because it's not easy to have like a uh, to have like a mm, uh, you know disconnected networks and then expect something is working. We need to just build it together, and we have tried to build this ecosystem, and this ecosystem is for diaspora, for the people who are here with the non-European roots and the like a not local roots, but they are trying to build something together with the local people. And we have built that. I think connecting uh, each and every person of this community would be beneficial for all, because we are not competing, we are working together. And the last part is like, okay, the future of technology is having a really really fast speed uh, that we are expecting with the AI era. I think the technology development and then having successes are speeding up really really fast. So in order to catch that, to align with that, we need to have also built this community and then connections and then supporting programs also fast. Otherwise, they will be. I mean, the technology will be ahead of us, and then we are like lack of connections and lack of uh, group of people working together. So thank you for having me. It was really great talking with you, and then I hope the audience liked what we have talked, what I have said, and I believe that we can later on, talk about other aspects and other issues and challenges, and invite the right people. Also, whoever wants to join us for this interviews, I would be really happy to join us.
Sure. Thanks a lot. And if you're an founder from developing countries or a talent who is searching for joining startups, and you would like to connect to global markets, please, first of all, follow us on social medias and especially YouTube. And then, if you're going to join our journey and you want to be part of our programs, please fill the related forms, and then we can be connected. So, thank you for watching us, and see you soon.